can't speak English. Bill can't really speak English either, so.
No.
But he writes a lot of English. He's a lot like you. I'm just kidding, Bill. That was a joke for you.
It was a good one.
Do you usually follow a schedule? Have you talked beforehand what you're going to talk about, or you just go with the flow?
We wing it.
Boom.
Yeah.
We're both getting right off of work, and usually, I mean, early on, we actually could do some prep, but now that we're both back in busy work schedules, it's just here we go.
And it's good either way. The audience doesn't really care if it's not perfect or whatever.
That's the beauty of podcasts, really.
Yeah, and there's a certain beauty to having a very small group listening to it. You don't have to be as serious or prep as much. You can do whatever.
We are doing whatever. I am looking at the standings here real quick. I should really pull up the playoff thing that I built. I think I'm about to reorganize it in a little bit just so it might look better.
I work that tab magic. That's important.
That's a good point. We can still talk about the matchups and the seeding. All right, Bill. Let's fire up the record button here. All right. This means we're live on YouTube right now, but that doesn't really start recording the audio that I use to record the actual podcast that I edit. So
I've actually never heard the edited version. I have to look that up.
You do, because the edited version has music.
Yeah, I know, but I kind of like to see the faces.
Oh yeah, this is us. Bill's way down there, and I'm up here.
If it's any consolation, Patrick, I've never watched the final edited version either. So
there's nothing to watch. It's just the audio.
Yeah,
I don't cut the video.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So far I've only used YouTube too.
All right. Well, we can bicker about that later. We're gonna fire this thing up. Here we go. And we are live, Bill and Patrick, on YouTube. It's the Empire Hockey Podcast. Patrick's our friend from Sweden, and welcome to your first show. How does it feel?
I'm very excited. I have so much information to bring you guys. Not really, but you will see. I have some predictions for the playoffs that I think some people are gonna like.
That's actually what I'm in for, Bill.
Nice. I'm all about it. And Patrick being one of the playoff teams.
Yeah.
I hope he predicts himself. That's all I really hope
for. He's facing a team that's on the ropes right now, though. That's the thing. So.
Okay. But I think I'm limping even harder than Bruce or Anaheim's team. Yeah. Go ahead. Yes, my top players are Vancouver players. And they're half dying of COVID right now, so that's not looking good for me.
Not looking great. Anyway, let's go to our players of the week, which was first introduced actually by Patrick and the Gritty Gazette, months ago. But we'll go to our top forwards of the week, and they are. We'll start at the bottom for a little bit of surprise. From the New York Islanders in our league, which is Patrick's team, Matthew Barzal, 25 points, 8.33 per game.
Yeah, I know.
What's that for, Bill?
They had a good game against Washington earlier in the week. That's
why you're disappointed.
5-point game.
Yeah.
So with those Vancouver, go ahead.
I know how the Flyers felt when they played the Rangers.
Nathan McKinnon from in real life Colorado. He plays for Montreal, also a playoff team. The number 2 forward of the week, 27 points, and the number 1 forward of the week plays for the Fly Guys in our league. It's Brad Marchand, 28.25 points. He had 5 goals, which led all skaters on the week. Also, a couple assists, 8 penalty minutes. A classic Marchand week right there.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Top defenseman. In third place from the Phoenix Coyotes, it's Ryan Murray. 17 points on the week. Incredible. And another surprise in this week's top defenseman is Mackenzie Weegar from the Empire Hockey Association Pittsburgh Penguins, 18.25 points per week. And no surprise from Winnipeg, our top defenseman of the week is Cale Makar, 19 points, a goal, and 4 assists there. So,
but did you know who led the league in hits last week, Perry?
I do care, but I don't know.
Radko Gudas, 23.
That sounds about right.
Yes.
In how many games?
But Penguins lost hits this week, which is
in how many games, Patrick?
Rarity.
What did Patrick say about the games?
In how many games did he do that? Good at
4.
Okay. That's a full slate.
Yeah.
Top goalies of the week. It was going to be one of the Minnesota goalies. It was Cam Talbot in third place. Hopefully Joe played him. He'll need him next week, I'm sure. 28.75 points. Juice Saros looks like he's taken over in Nashville if he hadn't already. Plays for Detroit in our league, 29.5. And then to make matters more interesting, Martin Jones. I know we talked about this in the Slack, but Jones also on the Detroit Red Wings at 36.75 points. So that's crazy. And let's look at our rookie of the week, if we can. There we go. Wow, look at this. Our third rookie of the week is Igor Shesterkin, goalie from the In Real Life Rangers, plays for St. Louis. Tied, actually, with Kirill Kaprizov of the New York Rangers in our league. And then the number one rookie of the week is Jake Ottinger from the Empire Hockey Association Detroit Red Wings, 21.75 points per week. Those are your top players of the week. Anything stand out to there? First, Bill, and then Patrick for the players of the week.
A lot of goalies.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and some bench points, right? I think we were
some
talking
bench
about
points,
that
right?
in
Martin
class.
Jones, yeah, Martin
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah, and Ottinger, the top rookie goalie.
Teams of the week. I was just short of the team of the week this week, you guys.
We were
and missed
counting
the
on
playoffs.
You. Yeah.
Detroit Red Wings are the team of the week. 400 or not 468. That's divided by 3.
156.
156, followed by myself and Chicago.
Vancouver had 153.75 too, because that was the great matchup of the week. Was Detroit and Vancouver toe to toe there at the end.
Right.
Yeah, that was a huge battle, and I have a side note about that. Especially
give it to me.
Detroit's scoring. He actually beat Chicago 2 weeks in a row, and I don't think any other team has done that this season.
I can't imagine.
I tried to look it up, and I don't think it happened before. So it's kind of cool. He heads into the playoffs. Like, you could say he is the king of the league right now.
Right, as you just like power rankings wise, right?
Yeah, power rankings wise, yeah.
It helps when you have a guy like Jonas Donskoy get you a hat trick like 10 minutes into a game on a given night. That does help.
That does really help, yeah. But still, he won 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and he has so much like fantasy points on the bench. It's kind of insane. I'm kind of jealous.
I am too. Even with my team playing really, really well, I needed to win all these games. I needed help. I didn't get any of the help. So the Minnesota North Stars will be in the Toffs, I think we're calling it.
Sponsored by Jelly's Cookies.
Sponsored by Jelly's Cookies. We almost had Jelly on a podcast, Patrick. We were very close, I thought.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to that. Was it last Monday?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Like, maybe you would have had, was it Chicago the week before? And he bailed.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, we had to. Yep. We have to rely on the Europeans to not bail on stuff. That's pretty much how America works these days.
Yeah. And I'm here working. It's after midnight right now, but I'm here. Doesn't matter. You have
after
to
midnight
for the guys.
Absolutely. Well, let's get to the playoff matchups because I know you're a part of that. Bill and I are unfortunately not.
Real quick, we do have to make a note, as he commented in the Slack, about as rough a week for the Phoenix Coyotes as you could possibly have. 59.25 points He had multiple players pull him a negative, and his goalie, Calvin Pickard, was negative 5.75. So we feel you, Phoenix.
He's going to want to turn that around if he wants a decent draft pick. That's the only issue here.
Yeah. So
I think he's going to have to settle with a top 10 kind of pick, but not any better than that.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Let's get to the matchups here. We have the 4 byes, right? Who's not playing week 1 of the playoffs? Chicago, Winnipeg, Pittsburgh, and Montreal, which we talked about last week, but it was in a real tight battle there with Quebec.
Yeah, what was the tiebreaker? Was it head-to-head?
Yeah, head-to-head.
They finished with the exact same amount of points and fantasy points, I believe.
Yeah, and that was kind of interesting too. Like in the Gritty Gazette, we mentioned Montreal's team a couple of times, and it was always like if he was going to drop out of the playoffs.
Right.
And he has had, like, I think it's a month where he has been above average and scored a ton of points. So he's one of the hottest teams, along with Detroit. He was kind of limping last week, but still doing good. So that's kind of been exciting to see, and it's a huge payoff for him to not have to play the first week.
Absolutely,
and it helps having McKinnon.
Yeah, that helps too.
Having a stud does help. It's been proven, although it has not helped Toronto this year, having the best player in hockey for a generation.
Imagine having that guy in your team. That would be something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
did you trade him? Is that why you're saying that?
Yeah, I did trade him. I think it's for the first season.
Yeah,
I got Elias Peterson, like Evgeny Kuznetsov, and I felt really good with that trade. I did it to like get more width in the team for a playoff push, and I think it was the right move that season. This season, I really regret it. It looks really, really stupid right now.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of the game, is to try stuff and see if it works.
Oh yeah, I think I've been trying too much with the trades, but
it makes it more interesting for everyone else.
Or you could be like Montreal and play 3 Sabres in your lineup, including the former Washington Capital Kyle Okposo, who I had only owned for salary purposes and finally jettisoned. He had 4 assists last week and got him 11 points. So I don't even know what to think anymore or what to do. But Montreal is playing 3 Sabres in that lineup going into the postseason. But they're hot, right? So maybe that's the key.
Yeah, they're really hot.
We got through the byes. Let's get to some of the games that are actually happening here. We have should I break it down by seeding? I have them all listed here, kind of. The 12-5 matchup is going to be I think it's the Ducks, right? Ducks and Buffalo.
Detroit and Buffalo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Buffalo's the last team in that just knocked you off, Perry, because of the tie.
Oh, Detroit, Buffalo. Sorry.
Yeah.
Detroit's not right. Detroit, Buffalo. Yep. Beat me by 1 point in the standings. Buffalo did.
He did.
Not unhappy about that at all or anything. So what do we think of that matchup there? Buffalo is the inaugural champion against a pretty hot Detroit team.
I'm kind of bummed that this game is like this matchup is too early in the playoffs. These are 2 great teams. Like I think Detroit is like the hottest team coming into the playoffs, but I think Buffalo's team is great. It's very deep, and he hasn't played a ton of games, so he's kind of behind in the score in the standings due to, you could say it's poor management. I don't know, or it's just unlucky. And the games will come rolling in now in the playoffs.
Yeah, it could be a COVID type situation, early, never caught up kind of thing.
Yeah. So if he can out Detroit and get like the games coming back and balance it up a bit, I think he can do a lot of damage. Either of these teams are going to the finals. That's my prediction.
Wow, nice.
That's a prediction.
Yeah.
Well, consider too, Ryan has Stamkos and Landeskog and Ovechkin on that team, and that's your 12 seed. So yeah.
Our second matchup is the Ducks Islanders.
Yeah.
And coming in the 11th seed, Patrick, your team, you guys were flying high early on the season. You hit a bit of a bump there, but you're in the playoffs, and that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I'm very barely into the playoffs. But Josh just typed to me that Calgary and Edmonton are going to play one extra game this week.
Okay.
And due to, I think Calgary was due to play Vancouver twice or something, and I don't think Vancouver is going to play any games this week. They have 17 players on the COVID list. So I get one more game from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and one more game from Matthew Tkachuk, and that if I'm going to have a slight chance, I need both of those guys to score. But I do really like Bruce's team, and it's one of my favorite teams in the league. He has great old timers scoring a lot, and he has great rookies coming up. So I wouldn't be that mad if I lost against him. I think he has one of the most interesting teams, and I think I've said it in the Slack. He is probably the best scout in our out of everyone. So
Yeah,
I kind of wish him some success due to that. But
well, you do have more fantasy points on the year than him.
Yes, I think I got all of those the first 3 weeks or something.
Oh, okay.
I'm very, very top heavy, which is not good in a league like this. If you look at Pittsburgh, he's winning my division by quite the margin, and I think I don't have a ton less points than him. It's quite close.
No, it's you only lost it by 6 points, I think. Yeah.
But he has a lot more wins. And it comes down to a lot of what Bill is talking about, the hits. Like I'm a goal scoring team, and sometimes I score a lot of goals and I win by a huge margin. But he has all the hits coming in steady all the time.
Consistency,
yeah, and gives him the edge. But in the playoffs, I don't know. Do you want to be bursty or steady? I don't think even if I win against Anaheim, I'm going to be knocked out the next round against Chicago, unfortunately. So I don't think it matters. If I lose now, I get a better draft pick, even though I love to knock out Chicago in the playoffs. You never know when it's a 1 week matchup.
Yeah,
so either way, my prediction is actually, even though I'm talking down about my own team, I predict myself to win this. I have some good guys coming in quite hot from last week, and he is looking a bit cold. So
okay,
we'll see.
Either way, a Tkachuk advances.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
That's true. One of the best, two of the I think Brady Tkachuk is the best fantasy player. Obviously McDavid scores a lot more points. Tkachuk is he gets the hits and pins and the goals and the assists and everything.
Well,
that's 5-tool.
I'm going to try to hope that my contribution to Patrick's team, Mr. Wilson, can get back on track, because we made that big trade in the offseason, and he also has another key capital as his goalkeeper. So my hope is that Washington can do their part for you this week.
Yeah, I think I need Samsonov to win. He has to step up.
Next game on our list, looking down, the Fly Guys, they've been kind of flying under the radar, no pun intended, all season. They take on Houston and Jelly. That division is loaded, right? You got Winnipeg, Anaheim, Houston, all with 23 plus wins.
Don't sleep on our Patrick division, though. Just saying. We've had a pretty good division too. Yeah.
Not sleeping on Flyers 20
We're flying under the radar there a little bit.
10 seed for the Flyers. They have a pretty good shot here, right? Against Jelly?
No, this is Houston's game. He's going to win this. I think this is going to be the most lopsided of the matchup.
You think Jelly's going to win?
Jelly's going to win, yeah.
Okay.
He also said it's not going to be close there, Perry, just so
Wow, I like that. I like the bold statement there.
Well, there's nothing to lose, right? Why not be bold?
You're right about that, Patrick. Last matchup of the regular playoffs, we have Vancouver and taking on Quebec. That's Joe versus the Ferta boys there.
This is a coin flip, right? Don't you agree with me here? I don't. I predicted Vancouver just because he was he the second team last week?
Yeah,
In points, I think.
Yeah, and Quebec was 19th. So the edge is to Vancouver right now.
Yeah, it's too bad because he kind of peaked in the middle of the season. Quebec did.
Yeah, he had a strong run there.
You also said, I think Patrick said Edmonton gets an extra game this week, so that's an extra game for Draisaitl, which doesn't hurt Vancouver either.
No, and kind of bummed for Montreal, who has no, it's Toronto who has McDavid. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, McDavid is not in the playoffs, which is a normal sight in real hockey, but not in our league.
Yeah,
because Toronto made the playoffs last year.
He did? Oh yeah, maybe he did.
Yeah, I mean, who remembers last year's playoffs ended in the first round in the middle of it? I was losing to Anaheim, I think, at the time. So that's that's the playoff picture as we see it. All the other teams are in the draft pick tournament, which the first 2 weeks get added together, and you get your top 8 teams from that move on to a single elimination bracket style tournament there.
Yeah, so those pairings are just for dressing, right? They're not real.
Yeah. The teams that it says like Portland versus San Jose. That doesn't mean anything. It's just so I can get them all in the system. So yeah, I mean, health is going to be a concern for a lot of these teams. I was kind of planning to be in the playoffs, and now it's kind of a little bit of a downer. But if I can try to win myself the best shot at a number 1 pick in the lottery, that's going to be, pretty good stuff. I picked up Travis Zajac, who's been actually pretty good for me, about 2 points a game for New Jersey. He's been kind of expensive, but I could fit him in. Patrick, let's ask Bill. Let's ask Patrick my 2 favorite questions about his team. Patrick, who's been your biggest surprise, and who's been your biggest disappointment this year from guys on your team?
Oh, I have so many to choose of. Like, biggest surprise, I don't know how to phrase this. I like, my initial reaction is like, who is doing the most poor? Like, what do you say? Poorly? No.
Poorly? Yeah, you can say poorly.
Worst, doing the worst. So like Riley Smith, and no, it has to be Rasmus Dahlin. Like, what? I don't know what's going on there.
Well, it's a Buffalo problem, I think.
Yeah, it's a Buffalo problem, but still, he doesn't put up anything. He doesn't do hit he's just kind of useless. And he's a generational pick or whatever you want to call it. So I can't drop him. I can't trade him because his trade
value
is so extremely low. I wouldn't feel good trading him. So yeah, he's my biggest surprise. In a negative way, in a positive way.
Positive way, yeah.
Yeah, it was Toffoli whom I traded for Greg Batherson. So, but still, I think I really like that trade in the long term. So Toffoli, even though he isn't on my team, is my biggest boon. Take that as you will. Like, the rest of the guys are doing worse or kind of what I expected. Most are doing worse, a lot worse even.
A lot worse.
I can add a sub note to that. I had Samuel Girard and Tyson Barrie, and they are doing fantastically good, even though well, maybe because they left my team. I don't know how the universe works, like stuff like that. So I lost Barrie in the expansion draft, and he's like, I think he's 3rd in points in the NHL, and I traded away Girard for Evander Kane, and Girard is like one of the top defensemen in our league. So I don't know how to answer that in a positive note.
No, sometimes it's tough, and you just got to kind of push to the next year. But you're still in the playoffs, so there's still obviously a chance here.
Yeah, anything can happen here. So you have to rely on your hope and rage against the dying of the light.
That's Dylan Thomas there, Perry, by the way.
Yeah, yes. I know. I looked it up. Yeah. You're pretty funny.
Yeah. Did I answer the question? I kind of went on a rant.
Yeah, you did. That was good. I know it was difficult. It was difficult. Let's take a look at now that the regular season's over, we'll look at the top 10 players at each position and see if there's any surprises there. I'm just going to run them down real quick for you guys, and you can tell me if you see any surprises or anything you think, that the league has wrong as far as our point system. Obviously, it does favor things like, penalty minutes, and we did decrease plus minus this year to being half as what it was worth last time, and hits. But hits, Bill and I have talked about it before. We talked about it with Joe. Like, that just adds a level of value to guys that wouldn't necessarily have it. So anyway, let's run down the top centers and then wingers.
Radko Gudas, for example. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Bill. Yeah, you can talk about Radko Gudas. All right. Top 10 forwards in the league from 10 to 1. Mark Scheifele, Joe Pavelski, Alexander Barkov coming in number 8, Gabriel Landeskog at 7, Sidney Crosby at 6, Nathan MacKinnon at 5, Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews at 3, Leon Draisaitl at 2, and Connor McDavid is the number 1 center in our league, Empire Hockey Association. 214.5 points, 5.64 per game, which is, I believe, the most if the season ended right now, his previous high is 4.7 points per game. He's at 5.6 points per game. That's unbelievable. I don't think you've ever had a forward average more than 5 points a game in a season. I could be wrong. I can look that up for next week. But yeah, any of those guys stand out to you? Obviously Pavelski for his age, but that's about it, right? Sid is 2 now, I guess 33.
Well, Marchand is 32, so that's almost impressive to me too.
Marchand's not in the top 10.
He's not?
No.
Well, for wingers, right?
For wingers. Sorry,
I'm sorry.
Centers.
Sorry.
This is centers list. Yep. Sorry.
Landeskog is kind of one of the odd birds, right? In a top 10 fashion, but he is a fantasy beast.
Yep.
And it's kind of interesting with Verhaeghe.
Verhaeghe, he's just outside the top 10. He's the 12th best center.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. But like, if you look at this, when you sort by fantasy points, look at centers. Like, this is a way to see that the league is kind of balanced. Like McDavid is at the top. It would be, if he wasn't, it would be something would be off.
I think so.
Guys, yeah, and the rest of the guys feel like they should be there. Pavelski kind of weird, but he scores kind of all goals and points. So I think this is looking great. Okay, it's a good balance.
Let's look at the wingers now. And I'm going to have to go a little bit deeper here for top 10 because there's some centers involved. I mean, I included Pavelski. He's more of a winger, really, I guess, but in the previous rankings. So we'll start with Andre Palat from Tampa Bay. You have DeBrincat, Ovechkin, Jake Gensel, Mark Stone, Jonathan Huberdeau, Patrick Kane. There's Marchand. He is the, I guess, second best winger, Bill, behind Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah, that guy.
So I've had the best center, and Bill have had the best winger.
Previously.
Yeah.
And I will know in another year or two if that really came to fruition. I mean, the way that it turns out, because with all the draft picks that I got out of that's they need to pan out for me. If they don't, then well, it is what it is at that point. So
yeah, this is also looking good. Like, it's scoring guys at the top. And I kind of like that. Like the one sticking out again is Landeskog, but you included him as a
I actually included him in both lists, but yeah,
I don't know. It looks great. Like,
my question is, how is Carter Verhaeghe only owned in 75% of Fantrax leagues? What are the other 25% of those leagues doing not owning Carter Verhaeghe?
They don't have 26 teams in them. I can guarantee you that.
Well, still, but like he's a top 10 wing or basically a top 10 winger. I don't know, but whatever.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've been on the Carter Verhaeghe train since he was dropped by Detroit or Montreal last year. Just by his scoring rates, I was like, this guy scores too much to be sitting here. So I picked him up, and luckily Bill and I talked about this too, Patrick, but guys who, I think there's a lot of guys that could be like a Carter Verhaeghe that just aren't given the opportunity. Florida, they signed him or whatever. They picked him up. I can't remember if it was a trade or not. And they just put him on their top line, and he's been productive for them.
Yeah. There's probably a ton of guys that would be just as productive as him if given the right circumstances.
Absolutely.
And you're talking about an interesting thing there about the pickups. I would love to see like an award like for the best pickup or best free agent ad or something like that. It's kind of hard to track and follow.
It is hard to track, right?
Yeah,
you have to be like self-nominating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of would have, and you would win it, right?
That was from last year, though, so I wouldn't even qualify.
Oh yeah. I
picked him up last year.
Yeah.
And that was a keeper. That was a weird keeper for me because I believe he was rookie eligible, so that's why I kept him, obviously.
Yeah. Obviously.
All right, top 10D in the Empire Hockey Association.
Here we go again.
Morgan Riley, Bill's bracing himself. Drew Doughty, number 9. Jacob Schersch, I can't say his name, from Arizona.
Churchin.
Yeah,
I can't ever say it either.
Chitrin. He's only 23. He's our 8th best D-man. John Carlson, actually on Bill's team. That's a good sign. Jeff Petrie in Montreal. He's had a pretty good year, all things considered.
More than pretty good.
Oh, yeah, he's the 6th best D-man. Chris Letang, who's been on fire as of late. He's kind of helped Pittsburgh on their late run here. Adam Fox, who's
unbelievably
amazing.
Good. Unbelievably good.
He's the 4th best D-man now. Dougie Hamilton, who was kind of chastised, right, in Calgary, moved to Carolina, and he's been superb and added some assists totals here this year. Unbelievably, 26, second most of any D-man. Darnell Nurse, Bill's former player, at number 2, which is another big surprise. And then Victor Hedman, who's not a surprise, number 1 defenseman, 140 fantasy points. He's up there. You talk about overall top skaters. You include Victor Hedman in that list.
And just on the outside is Barry, who Patrick mentioned, and there are 2 former Tyson Barry owners on this podcast, as I am the original draftee of said Tyson Barry. So to think that of the top 11 that at one point I had Nurse and I have Carlson and I had Barry, it's again just inept ownership on my part. I'm terrible, and I'm just thankful you haven't kicked me out of the league.
Bill, we got to stop talking about D-men. Bill just goes off on these rants about them.
Yeah, but we have one interesting guy there on 11, Mackenzie Weegar. That he is almost a top 10 guy. That's interesting. That's great drafting from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he 23 points on the. Or no, sorry. Yeah.
23 points, 40 pims, and plus 20.
Take that.
Yeah.
Top 10 goalies. This will be an interesting list. Cal Peterson, who was the backup to my starting goalie this year, is the number 10 goalie.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I thought I was going with the right choice. I was not.
Well, I had Cal Peterson and dropped him. So
there you go.
We can compete about stuff like this all you want.
Cam Talbot, top goaltender, number 9 from Minnesota, who's essentially been splitting time there. Juice Saros from Nashville. He's played in 21 games? That's about half the season, right? Or thereabouts. Semyon Varlamov, number 7. Thatcher Demko, number 6. But of course, he's one of the many on the COVID list. And that's why the Sharks did not finish that strongly, apparently. Marc-Andre Fleury is number 5. Bounce back year for him. We've talked about him a number of times. Kevin Lankinen, the only other rookie eligible goalie on this list from Anaheim.
Lankinen and Fleury, both on the same team.
Same team, although Lankinen hasn't seen the light of day, and he's got 150 fantasy points on that side. He's been in the minors all year. Connor Hellebuck for Ottawa, just a consistent stud between the pipes, right? He's there every year, a top 5 goalie at this point.
Yeah.
Philip Grubauer for Houston. We kind of expected him to have a good year because we knew Colorado was going to be good, but maybe not this good. He's the number 2 goalie in our league. And then Andrei Vasilevsky, once again, is number 1, almost 900 points, 199.25 points on the season, 23-5 record. Just, I know the Tampa Bay Lightning are good. It's hard to really tell how good Vasilevsky is by how good Tampa Bay has been his whole career, but I mean, you got to hand it to him at some point.
Yeah, he's worth his salary, even though it's quite high.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're mixing up Kevin Lankinen with Kaapo Kähkönen. I think Lankinen has been used by Anaheim.
You're correct, Patrick. Yep.
Oh, I am making that. Okay. Lankinen has been used by Anaheim?
Yeah, it's Kaapo Kähkönen that hasn't been used.
Yeah.
Who's the stud rookie from the Wild. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but he's still like the 17th best goalie, so he's really stacked in that, like almost two stacked, one could say. He could have traded one.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite sorting utilities on the roster page is if you click on where it says stat type fantasy team, it'll tell you how many points the guy's actually accrued for the season, which is a fun way to look at your roster and see, well, this guy hasn't played at all. or I played Michael McLeod for 4 games and he got 15.5 points. That's 3.88 per game, but he's been not nearly as productive overall. So you can see the kind of production you got out of guys. Whereas, see, James Reimer for me has gotten me 23 points in 5 games. Malcolm Subban, I played him for 1 game. He got 6 points. So that stuff's kind of interesting as far as that's concerned. I wonder if you can do it for the whole league-wide search, and you can't. But you can do it on your roster. Yeah, you can do it on your roster. So you can see how many points that Anaheim's used for his different goalies, for example. So Bruce, if I click on Anaheim and fantasy team usage, boop. Lankinen has just 50 points from Lankinen and 79.5 from Marc-Andre Fleury. So he's left a decent amount on the table, but no one knew Lankinen was going to be good, right? So we kind of sat in the minors for a decent part of the year.
And that's 130 points from your goalies.
Right. If he had played just Lankinen, he'd have got 150. So, I mean,
yeah.
Hindsight being 2020, that's the move. But right, that's still not a bad amount from your goalies. Where if I don't know how many points I've got from my goalies. It's not. It might be one of the worst in the league.
90.
90, Bill? I
had 90. Sorry.
You had not. I thought you were going to say I had 90. There's no way I got 90 points from goalies. I might be under 30 points from goal.
No,
I shouldn't say that.
Can't be that bad.
No.
50? Do I get 50 points from goalies?
52.5.
Yep, there it is. 52.5. Just ahead of Chicago somehow, Toronto, and Phoenix.
Yeah.
That's a shocker to me.
Chicago,
yeah, that's a shocker.
That's a big shocker. Yeah, imagine if he had a decent goalie.
Like a league average goalie is like 85, 90 points.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you have I think we have 3 teams that hogging 3 good goalies.
You can always. I mean, there's a positive to that. You can trade. Trade for them.
Yeah, but they're really expensive. I tried.
See, and I mean, my thing, and again, it's just poor ownership on my part, I think, again. But I had Varlamov last year. I was coming into the year with Varlamov and Korpisalo, and I didn't keep Varlamov. I just was like, no. I mean, I didn't know what to do with him really, so I just didn't keep him. And now he's like the 6th best goalie in the league. So
goalies are incredibly hard to predict. Like if you look at the list for the best goalies, the top 3 are like what you can consider top tier goalies: Vasilevsky, Grubauer, Hellebuyck. But after that, it's kind of a mess. Like who would have predicted any of those guys?
Yeah, and I read too much into things too, because I looked at the Islander situation. I'm like, they have those guys coming right up behind Varlamov, so whatever his shelf life is, it isn't going to last. I don't think terribly long. And then sure enough, it's Barry Trotz, so it doesn't matter, and he's gonna, they please Varlamov, and it's great. So
you only have to go back 2 years, right, to find the top 5 goalies 2 years ago, 18-19, last full season. Was Darcy Kemper at 5, Carey Price 4, Frederik Andersen 3, Hellebuyck, and Vasilevsky. So there's a little bit of consistency there, but on the same list has John Gibson and Ben Bishop and Matt Murray and Jacob Markstrom. Yeah. I mean, so it's some of the things are, some things remain the same, but a lot of guys change places. 4 years ago, Rene is the number 2 goalie. Gibson, Bobrovsky, Jonathan Quick was the number 7 goalie in 2017-18. So age plays into it, opportunity plays into it, but it is hard to predict year to year. That's for sure.
Yeah, the easiest, the hardest position to predict by far. Like it's right. Really hard to understand what's happening with goalies' heads.
And I tried to kind of punt the position. I went with Quick and kind of nobody this year, and it did not work out because Quick's not even on my team anymore. And I had to trade Bill a 3rd-round pick for James Reimer at the deadline. So, that's where we're standing right now. He's been fine. I mean, Reimer's fine. They were even talking about moving him at one point, right? Carolina?
I think Toronto was in the talks of acquiring him or something like that.
Or Chicago, or Colorado even.
Yeah, Colorado too. But they acquired the Buffalo keeper, Jonas Johansson, instead, I think.
Right.
I think they're quite satisfied with Grubauer. Yeah. I dropped Holtby today. He won the Western, like, was it 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
terrific.
This stings so much. Like, the Holtby saga for me is atrocious. I don't know how to phrase it. But I traded for Holtby last season from Chicago, in like a desperate attempt to have a starting goalie because Samsonov was injured. I traded a lot of my prospects for Samsonov, and he was injured. And I needed someone to, like, I knew who would get starts since Samsonov was hurt. So I traded for Holtby. I sent my first round pick to Chicago, and the season was shut down like some weeks after. I think I got 2 starts out of him.
You traded your first round rookie pick to him.
Yeah, my first round minor. And that pick Chicago used to get Rantanen.
Yeah.
Oh, he traded him to Bill. I was like, who did he didn't even make the pick.
No, he didn't even make the pick. So I gave him my pick, which he used to acquire Rantanen. And today I dropped Holtby, like to complete the circle. So I gave him the first round pick for really nothing. Like, I haven't started Holtby more than like 10 games. So that stings, but who knows? It could have been a great success. So it was a gamble.
So Bill, I just want to follow that pick. So what did that turn into for? Was that Jack Quinn?
I think it was Jack Quinn. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You took Jack Quinn and Dawson Mercer back to back. I like looking at rookie drafts like at the end of the year. They're interesting to me.
Yeah, I took Perfetti, Quinn, and Mercer in like the first 15 picks.
8, 14, 15 you picked. Does that mean you didn't have a first round pick last year?
Who, me?
No, Patrick.
Oh.
No, I traded. No.
You had a second?
I usually trade those.
Yeah, you like to trade your first round picks.
Yeah, I didn't have any picks at all, and I had to I traded Hyman for 2 second round picks or something stupid like that. I had to trade him, otherwise I would have dropped him to free agency due to I had too many players.
Okay, yeah, your first rookie pick was Joel Curavanta.
Yeah. He's been okay. He has been hurt quite a lot.
Before we go anywhere, before we close the show, I want to just do we have any kind of scouting on the before giving away your ideas as far as who's going to be the number 1 pick next year, in case I run the table here on this playoff tournament and get the best shot at it.
Yeah, like
any word on
that? I don't know how it will play out. I do know the Swedish guys in the top 10. They one of them is Jesper Wallstedt, and he's amazing. Like, he's a goalie. So he's probably going to be the best goalie in the draft. He looks really cool, calm, collected. I really like what I'm seeing.
Did he play for the junior team or no?
No, he's playing in the big league.
Okay.
So is Fabian Lissell. He's also playing in the big league. Both are looking good. It's kind of, they're looking good, but not what you want from a top 10 pick. They're not Raymond Holt or Raymond or Holt.
Yeah.
But I don't know much about.
Do you get a chance to go to see any of the games out there?
No.
Spectators? No.
No, it's locked down. All of it is locked down. My hometown team is playing in the playoffs to qualify to the highest ranking league.
Oh wow! So for promotion, you mean?
Yeah, for promotion. So they play the first semifinal game on Sunday, and the last in second OT. So it's a best of 7. So
you can watch those on TV or computer.
Yeah, on the computer. It's quite like the mediocre stream, but it works.
They have good broadcasters, at least.
And not in the second league. Like in the top league, it's good. Yeah.
Okay. If I spoke Swedish, I'd come over and call those for you, but I don't, sadly.
Yeah, it would probably be a lot better.
I can just call him. I could just call him in English.
Yeah, you can call them in English. Like in the second league, especially this year, I don't think the broadcasters are allowed in the arena, so they're watching on the stream. Like they're watching the same stream as I.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's not easy for them to call it correctly.
No, it's not.
But they're doing the best they can.
That's okay. We can start a new podcast next week. We'll start a new podcast about the Swedish second division.
Yeah,
and people might listen to that. Maybe not in English though.
I think we can do it in Swedish.
Oh, all right. We should do the next pod in Swedish. I like that.
Yeah. Maybe we get some more followers.
That's true. We need. You're our lone Swedish owner in the league right now. We have a couple Canadian. Well, a few Canadians now.
Yeah.
But we span the entire United States though.
Yeah,
California, Washington.
Yeah, that was interesting. My friend who was coaching the Ottawa Senators last season, he wasn't really active, so it's kind of annoying for me. I really want to push activity. I want people to be active and make trade offers.
Sure.
So it kind of hampered me in a sense that I couldn't get people to be more active when my friend wasn't showing any activity at all.
Yeah.
So, in a sense, it's kind of nice that he isn't playing because several teams were typing to me like, "Can you make him answer my trade offer?" And I was like,
you're like being the liaison, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully people are responsive here, and that's kind of the goal, is to have as much fun as we can watching hockey and following players we like or that we don't like but score a lot of points for our teams.
Yeah, the activity this year has been higher, I think. Especially from the I think there's a friend group with Quebec, Montreal, and Detroit, right?
Yep, those are all Buffalo guys.
Yeah, those are quite more active this year, I think, and it's really fun. They're really contributing to the Slack, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I think it's a lot of fun, and I think the camaraderie among the league is fun. People are nice. People are relatively nice to each other and kind of in it for the right reasons, which is what we're doing here.
It's improving from year to year. I think it's easy to have that camaraderie. And I think, was it Justin Robinski who said something, he called it something special that I think about a lot. Yeah, the crowdsourced parenting for stuff for dads.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of fun. Like, he had a great viewpoint on how we can contribute to each other, help each other out in stuff outside of hockey. And that's kind of special, isn't it? Like, how internet is connecting people in different ways than you thought it would.
Anytime that a fantasy hockey league can connect people and help each other in everyday life, I think is special, right? Like, I've known Bill for a while now, but like putting this league together and having Patrick from Sweden come on a podcast to talk about stuff like this. I mean, what is going on, right? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
In a good way.
In a great way.
Great way. Fantastic. And there's 25 people that can help a fellow owner start his cookie business, like by putting the word out there. Like it's wherever it is. It's great.
Yeah, we were legitimately worried about Jelly and whether he had power or not for a while
during the storms and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of scary. I was honestly quite worried, but it turns out he just had notifications disabled.
Jelly scared us.
Yeah, he kind of scared us.
He did.
There's not to kiss up, so to speak, though, too. But at the same time, it is a testament, Perry, to your work. We're thankful for you as the fearless leader. You keep the ship going, so thank you.
Yeah.
Luckily there's a site like Fantrax that we can all hate on and love at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you got a lot of hate from the beginning with the different rules and stuff like that, but you sorted it out great. And right now we're in a great place with the rules and the scoring.
Yeah.
As you can see from the top 10.
Yeah, that was the goal. It gets a little bit more difficult, and some guys maybe a little bit overvalued as you go down. But I mean, we'll take a look off season, and if we want to make tiny adjustments to stuff, that's kind of how we're going. Is it's all kind of crowdsourced, right? Like I make the ultimate decisions on a lot of things, but I try to vote on as much stuff as possible and to make it as much fun for all 25 other owners, right? That are trying to have fun here. So that's going to do it for the pod. We'll give you guys final thoughts here. We'll start with Bill. Bill, we're going to the playoffs. I mean, not you, but we're playing for a draft pick. So it is important to try and score points here, right?
Well, that is the modus operandi. You want to try to have more points than the person you're facing at the end of the week. So yeah, I as a what is it, Yas 2, sponsored by
Toffs.
Jelly's Cookies competitor. Toffs. I am fascinated though by the 2 weeks of accruing points. I think that'll be kind of neat to see how that plays out for all of us to, get into that final tournament there. So there'll be, I think a couple of good teams, unfortunately not getting into that last 8. I do feel for the likes of Phoenix and, myself, maybe, and a couple others, but
Portland. Yeah. They need you to kind of pick it up.
Yeah.
Patrick, obviously thanks for coming on, but anything final thoughts for the pod listeners?
No, thanks for having me. And kind of jealous on the teams in the top. It's not as stressful. I think my week is going to be quite stressful.
Yeah.
Just the score and following along. But you have the two week what do you call big group stage?
Yeah.
You don't get knocked out or stuff like that. So I think I'm going to be a bit more stressed than I should be about this. But it's going to be a ton of fun as well.
Well, you can hopefully sleep well tonight and hopefully get some rest.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right. For Patrick and Bill, I'm the Commissioner Perry. Thanks you once again for listening to the Empire Hockey Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts probably, or Spotify. We'll catch everyone next week. Playoff season, everybody. Nice.